Jason Miller. And Jason, I want to ask you about the debate, but I want to ask you about this questioning from Tucker Carlson, I guess sort of talking up the idea of some sort of violent conflict over this campaign. Is that something the former president is embracing? That answer there was an odd answer, and I just didn't know if you had a better understanding.
No, Chuck, I think you're framing it incorrectly. President Trump had a very good answer. Well, let's talk about the debate for a moment. The fact of the matter is President Trump won this thing tonight, Chuck.
Is he going to tamp down violence, Jason? No. Is he going to not?
Chuck,
I mean, is he going to convince his...
Chuck, that is...
I'm just trying to...
Chuck, respectfully, that's an idiot. Chuck, respectfully, that's an idiotic question to even go in. President Trump is campaigning on making America great again. We saw the greatest economy that we've had in a century, possibly ever, when President Trump was in office. He makes it very clear. He has more policy videos on his website. He gives speeches. He gives detailed interviews. He takes on the tough battles with tough reporters. He's actually doing it. And so President Trump, you saw tonight, his policies loom large over everybody on that stage. He dominated every answer, whether it's about him politically or policy-wise. And quite frankly, I agree with the comments earlier. President Trump looked like a genius by skipping the pig pile tonight and instead doing the interview with Tucker Carlson, which, by the way, Chuck, just hit 87 million views. So what, probably 10, a little more than tenfold than watch the rest of the folks have their cat fight tonight. But here's the other thing, I think a really important point. I heard someone earlier on the panel say they thought that DeSanctimonious did okay. That's not right. We saw the death of Ron DeSantis' campaign tonight as Vivek Ramaswamy leapfrogged him into second place. DeSantis, it didn't do good enough for him to tread water. He had to have a breakout moment, and Ramaswamy completely outshone him. I knew President Trump wasn't going to be there tonight. I didn't know Ron DeSantis was going to skip the debate as well.
Is Donald Trump planning on being in any debates, or only if the polls get closer?
Good question. He said on True Social that he's not planning on being in the debates, plural, and I would take him at that until possibly he decides to change his mind. Maybe it has something to do with the poll numbers. Maybe it's because he wants to get in there and mix it up. Maybe it's because he saw debates like this evening where none of the other candidates had breakout moments or really seemed to have any strong policy ideas. And President Trump's the one that has everything, whether it's bringing down inflation, stopping the killing in Ukraine. His presence really loomed large over everyone tonight.
I am curious. Let me ask you about that Ukraine question. Is Donald Trump, what is his stance on more funding, more aid for Ukraine? Does he want more aid? Because there's an assumption that he doesn't want more aid to Ukraine, but I don't want to put words in his mouth. Where is he on this?
Well, and President Trump has been very clear on that. He said that his goal on this is to go and stop the killing. He has messages that he can deliver to Zelensky. He has messages that he can deliver to Putin. He's not going to go and have a debate on this over, say, cable news. That would be silly. He's going to go and has the relationships with both of these leaders to get it to stop. These are relationships that none of the other candidates have because they haven't done it on this level. That's why so much of what we saw tonight really seemed kind of an audition for President Trump's cabinet in many senses. But he's the only one who's actually done this, and that's why I think you're going to see him having a big boost in the polls coming out of this. I do think Ramaswamy's going to have a nice bump. I think DeSantis is finished.
Are you guys, you did a fundraiser with January 6th folks. Do you view January 6th as an asset for the general election?
I think that's not going to be the primary determinative issue in this election. I think it's going to be about the economy. I think it's going to be about inflation, Biden's terrible record. I mean, Chuck, you're a student of politics. You saw where Biden and the Democrats just went up with a $25 million ad buy in a whole bunch of states. They're supposedly safe blue states because Biden's freaking out. He sees his numbers plummeting with African-American voters, with Hispanic-American voters, because they're mad at the inflation. All the Biden geniuses say, wait a minute, inflation is starting to come down. Guys, everything is still getting more expensive. Maybe it's getting more expensive a little bit slower, but folks' wages aren't keeping up. That's why the Biden White House is in a panic. And by the way, the embrace of Bidenomics
is a negative? You don't believe it's a negative for Donald Trump to win re-election?
I don't think that it's going to be a determinative issue in this election. I think it's about the economy, Biden's failed record versus President Trump's successful record, particularly on the economy, crime, immigration. We talk about the border, and again, stopping the killing in Ukraine.
Jason Miller at the debate spin room. I guess Fox finally let you in. Did you get your credential, or are you there somewhere else?
Hey, Chuck, you can't stop the Trump train.
Okay. Fox tried and couldn't keep you out. Jason Miller in the spin room that Trump people weren't supposed to get credentials for. Thank you. Coming up.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.